Hello everyone, this is Jake from Cinecaliber. This is my first video in quite some time. This will be covering The Accountant 2. I did a review on The Accountant 1 back in July, so if you guys want to check that review out before heading into this one, there will be a link in the description of this video for that. So, without further ado, let's get into it, guys. So I only just recently got into The Accountant franchise. I was pretty late to the party with this one. I watched the first film, and honestly, it piqued my interest, but it didn't totally hit the mark for me. It had the bones of a great action thriller, but it lacked direction, and it made it really hard to stand out. Fast forward to The Accountant 2, and this sequel, it does exactly what a sequel should do. It raises the stakes, tightens the story, and fixes a lot of what didn't quite work the first time around. I gotta say, this one really surprised me and turned this into a franchise worth paying attention to. We're gonna get into the plot summary. The Accountant 2 picks up with Christian Wolf, the autistic math savant turned lethal freelance accountant, being drawn back into action when his estranged brother Brax reaches out for help taking down a violent human trafficking ring. The two brothers end up teaming up to expose a powerful criminal network, and along the way, they're forced to confront their past, reconcile their differences, and find some kind of redemption through family. It's part action thriller, part emotional drama, and even throws in some dark humor for good measure. It's definitely a more layered story than the first film. There's some background context of this film's development, some stuff I found pretty interesting. The sequel had been a long time coming. It was first announced all the way back in 2017 with director Gavin O'Connor and writer Bill Dubach returning. But studio shakeups and Warner Brothers moving away from mid-budget action flicks put the project on ice for nearly 8 years. It wasn't until Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's company, Artists Equity, teamed up with MGM and Amazon MGM Studios that The Accountant 2 actually got made. Filming took place in Los Angeles from March to August of 2024, with cinematography by Seamus McGarvey and a new score by Bryce Dessner, who replaces Mark Isham from the first film. Without further ado, we're going to get into what was a hit, guys, with this, The Good. So let's start with what really worked this time around. The chemistry between Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal, easily the best part of the movie. Their brother dynamic absolutely carries the film. It's funny, it's heartfelt, and it gives the story an emotional core that was missing before. Anytime they share the screen, it's gold. The action, brutal, clean, and satisfying. The choreography is sharp, focusing on hand-to-hand combat and precise gunplay. You can really feel the military and assassin training behind every move. The opening fight sequence with J.K. Simmons in particular, yeah, that one sets the tone immediately and does a very good job in just setting up the rest of the story. What also stood out for me was how much emotional depth the movie added. The first film was cold and procedural. This one opens up more emotionally. It digs into Christian's inner struggles, his bond with Brax, and even introduces a subplot involving autistic children that broadens the neurodivergent representation. The humor and warmth also hits better this time. It balances serious themes with lighter moments that makes the characters feel human. At times, it almost plays like a hangout movie disguised as a gritty action thriller, and I mean that as a compliment. Now we're going to get into what was a miss, the bad. Now, even though I really enjoyed this sequel, it's not without flaws. First off, the plot is still way too busy. Just like the first film, it tries to juggle too much. International crime rings, family drama, flashbacks, emotional arcs, all within a 2-hour runtime. Some of these subplots feel rushed and underdeveloped as an end result of all the stuff that's going on. The pacing also dips in the middle. The first act moves fast and clean, but once the humor and emotional moments start to mix with the violence, it kind of feels uneven. It's like the movie's not quite sure when to take itself seriously. And unfortunately, the villain, pretty forgettable. It's a weak point carried over from the first film, in my opinion. The main conflict lacks a strong central antagonist, and that hurts the stakes a bit. Then there's the portrayal of autism. While it's handled with more warmth this time, some parts still lean into that autistic superhero stereotype that oversimplifies what neurodivergence really looks like. It's well intentioned, but still a little off. Um, Finally, Ben Affleck's performance. It's while good, it still feels stiff at times. When he's sharing scenes with Bernthal, the chemistry shines. But on his own, those emotional beats don't always land the way they should. And to be honest, I've always felt that way with Ben Affleck. I think it's just his acting style. Some movies tend to flesh better with him, but I don't know. This film, it does flesh decently with him, but also he kind of takes away from the film itself. So I'm kind of in the middle with his performance. Now we're gonna get into the conclusion here, guys. So yeah, with its flaws, The Accountant 2 is a much stronger sequel overall. It gives this franchise new life with sharper action, more character-driven storytelling, and a real sense of purpose. It's not perfect, and the story still bites off a little more than it can chew, but this is easily one of the best action films of the year 2025 so far. And it actually makes me excited for The Accountant 3, which, newsflash, is already in development. For me, the sequel turned The Accountant into a legitimate must-see action franchise. With all that said, I would give this film a final rating of a 7 out of 10. So, let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments. Did you like this sequel more than the first one? And if you want more breakdowns and reviews like this one, don't forget to subscribe for more from Cinecaliber. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.